3 years of marriage to an absolute ice queen CEO. She always locks the door at exactly midnight, even if he is just 1 minute late. Then she hits him with the most brutal insults, calling him completely worthless. Accusing him of constantly messing around, she always calls him by name. If you are so capable, why do you not actually go find a mistress? He always thought. This toxic routine was just their silent way of tormenting each other, until one day. He actually goes out and does it, and she completely panics. For the first time, her face is filled with pure terror, like she just lost her most precious treasure. He opens the door, but the dark hallway is dead silent. It feels like stepping right into the mouth of a quiet, waiting beast. Ready to swallow him whole. He does not even need to look down at his watch. To know it is 12:01 a.m. He is late by exactly 1 minute. A faint shadow is resting on the living room sofa, and a trace of expensive, cold perfume hangs lightly in the dark air. The scent is sharp and elegant, matching the icy personality of his wealthy wife.
Keeping everyone away. Fooling around again?
Shen Youchu's voice cuts through the dark room, completely devoid of any real warmth. Pure ice. He keeps the lights off. Using the pale moonlight to kick off his shoes, he calmly explains it was just a dinner. He had a few drinks with his coworkers. He has used this exact excuse 1,000 times. She lets out a sharp, mocking laugh in response. Dripping with pure disdain, she asks how his cheap 3,000 yuan job even has dinners. Wondering how he has the nerve. He stays completely silent. He hangs his coat over his arm, the heavy smell of alcohol clinging to him. Mixed with cheap street food, the scent stands out sharply in her perfectly clean and frozen living room. "Look at you," she says, asking which mistress he got drunk with. Shen Youchu stands up. She flips on the bright chandelier, instantly stinging his eyes. He raises his hand to block the glare, and there she is, standing right before him. Wearing a designer silk nightgown that beautifully highlights her elegant and stunning figure. Her makeup is flawless, even though she's just relaxing at home. Looking like an absolute queen ready to step onto a battlefield, though those beautiful eyes of hers are filled with nothing but pure, unfiltered disgust. He quietly repeats that they were just co-workers. Men or women, she demands, stepping closer. Honestly, he is just so tired, not physically, but deep in his soul. His heart is exhausted. 3 years ago, when they first signed that marriage agreement, he truly believed he could endure anything. The contract clearly stated this was just a marriage of convenience. No interfering in each other's lives. She gave him a massive villa and an unlimited black card. The only catch was playing the role of an obedient, submissive, and useless husband, all just to make sure her incredibly controlling family felt completely at ease. She needed a worthless husband to make herself look strong, allowing her to smoothly take control of the entire Shen family business. He agreed easily, because he was just tired of his past life of endless fighting. Tired of all the schemes. Wait, plot twist, he actually transmigrated to this new world. Now he just wants to relax and quietly live as a total slacker. He really thought playing a completely useless nobody would be the absolute easiest job in the world. But he was so wrong. He completely underestimated how much words can actually hurt. For 3 years, she used the most toxic words to crush his dignity daily. She mocks him, asking why he is silent and if she hit a nerve. She steps right in front of him, reaching out with her slender fingers, brushing his wine-stained shirt with absolute disgust, as if brushing away trash. But this time, Xu Liunian actually looks up. Meeting her eyes for the first time, he asks if this is fun. She freezes. Clearly, she did not expect her usually submissive husband to snap like this. Then, her lips curl into an even more mocking smirk. She laughs, calling it hilarious and asking why it wouldn't be. Just seeing how utterly pathetic he looks makes her realize something. Her decision back then was genius, she sneers, leaning in close. Her cold perfume hits his nose as she warns him to know his place. Calling him a dog she raises, she tells him to obey her every command. He cannot disobey. Meanwhile, his fists quietly clench at his side. nails digging into his palms as that familiar, heavy pain strikes his chest. That suffocating sting. She coldly warns him to behave and tells him not to go creating any embarrassing scandals out there. She cannot afford to lose face like that. She pauses. Her gaze grows even more contemptuous. But then again, she adds, with his sad looks, no other woman would even want him anyway. She laughs at the thought. Unless, of course, he finds some cheap home wrecker. She even offers to pay for it. She turns, grabbing her luxury bag from the entryway cabinet, slapping a stack of red bills right in his face, telling him to go buy a woman and satisfy his sad little male ego. The bills flutter down like red butterflies,
Scattering all around him, landing softly on the cold floor.
Every single bill feels like a stinging slap. He just stares at her, staring at her beautiful face, now twisted with ugly contempt. 3 whole years of this. At this point, something inside him finally snaps. He completely ignores the money scattered across the floor. Instead, his lips curl into a cold grin she has never seen before. Sure, he says softly. Yet it echoes through the room, freezing her smug smile as she demands to know what he said. He calmly repeats his answer. Bending down to organize the scattered shoes, he stands up and walks straight toward her. Cornered by his sudden heavy aura, she instinctively takes a step back. Her back hits the cold wall as he reaches out and grips her chin. Her skin is smooth but cold as ice. He whispers her name, Shen Youchu. His voice is soft, sounding almost like a lover's sweet whisper. Promising to find another woman just to satisfy her wishes, he tells her he just hopes she does not end up crying. With that, he lets go. Leaving her looking completely shaken, he turns and heads up to the guest room. The moment the door shuts, a loud crash echoes from downstairs. The sound of shattering glass. He slowly slides down the door, collapsing onto the floor. Pulling his phone from his pocket, the screen suddenly lights up. He looks at his bloodshot eyes in the reflection and dials a familiar number. The call is picked up instantly. His highly competent chief secretary, Wang is waiting for his orders. He calmly gives 3 cold orders. First, cut off all overseas raw materials for the Shen Group starting tomorrow. Second, start heavily shorting their stock to crush their market value. He wants a below IPO price within a week, plus a new identity. Plus a luxury penthouse in the city center with the absolute best views. He plans to move tomorrow, leaving Wang Yi on the other end completely stunned. Quietly, he knows better than to ask why. Promising to get it done, he hangs up. He tosses his phone aside and leans against the cold door. His eyes close. He recalls her arrogant face, and honestly, seeing him finally end this game is so satisfying. She pushed him away. The next morning, the thin curtains cannot block the blinding sun. He sits up, wincing from a massive hangover headache. The villa is completely silent. His wife is a workaholic who always leaves at 7 sharp. No exceptions. He heads into the bathroom. Staring into the mirror, he looks exhausted and completely unrecognizable. Pale skin, dark circles, and wearing nothing but cheap casual clothes. He looks just like an ordinary corporate slave, beaten down by life. Playing a useless husband for 3 years almost made him forget his true self. He turns on the faucet. Splashing freezing water, he tries to clear his mind. Droplets slide down his jaw, leaving a damp patch on his shirt. He looks up, and his gaze in the mirror instantly sharpens. This is the real him, a ruthless beast who clawed his way out of hell. A man who built a massive business empire with his own hands. Not the pathetic loser she thinks he is. He does not pack a single thing from this so-called home. Nothing here belongs to him anyway. Walking downstairs in yesterday's clothes. The cash she threw on the floor last night is still scattered everywhere. A silent mockery. The nanny is currently cleaning. Seeing him walk down, she awkwardly pauses her work. When she tries to speak, he calmly tells her he is heading out. Ignoring the cash, he walks straight to the door. She hesitates and warns him that his wife left in a terrible mood, even smashing her favorite crystal vase before leaving. The nanny looks at him with pity, making him pause. Breaking her own vase to throw a tantrum? What a joke! Laughing internally, he opens the front door.
She asks if he wants breakfast, but he refuses and steps out into the sun.
The warm morning sun finally chases away the last chill.
Deep breaths. Xu Liunian feels alive again.
Outside, a sleek black Rolls-Royce Phantom is waiting, gleaming under the sun. Showing off pure luxury, his sharp assistant Wang stands waiting in a tailored suit. Gold-rimmed glasses, waiting respectfully.
The moment he spots Xu Liunian, he quickly opens the passenger door.
The boss nods and gets inside. As the door shuts, all the noise from the outside world vanishes. Extremely spacious, with plush leather seats and a relaxing sandalwood scent. This is his real world, and Wang Yi says everything is ready. He starts the engine while passing a thick folder from the passenger seat. Inside, Xu Liunian finds a set of keys, a new ID card, and several black cards still registered to Xu Liunian. But the photo shows a powerful boss in a custom suit.
Hair styled flawlessly, eyes sharp and confident.
That commanding aura is who he truly is. The new penthouse sits at Yunding Tiangong, featuring 360-degree panoramic views. It has been fully customized to his tastes, Wang Yi reports. Also, following his orders from this morning, things are moving fast. They have already completely cut off all ties. All raw materials to the Shen Group are officially cut off. Meanwhile, their Wall Street team has already started shorting the Shen Group stock. Xu Liunian leans back to rest while Wang Yi glances through the rear view. He hesitates before speaking up. He asks if he should check on the wife, meaning Shen Youchu. No need, Xu Liunian answers, his eyes completely cold. There is no wife starting today, and Wang Yi immediately shuts his mouth. Drive to Yunding Tiangong. The luxury car smoothly leaves the wealthy villa area and merges into traffic. Watching the city scenery pass by, Xu Lian feels absolutely nothing. Honestly, Shen Youchu and her family are just a minor blip to him. Just a brief episode in his life, and now that episode is over. Checking his phone, a major financial news alert flashes on the screen. The Shen Group stock crashed instantly, dropping 30% in 30 minutes. Billions in market value just vanished, and he lets out a cold smirk. This is just the start, since Shen Youchu thought she was so powerful. She treated him like he was completely useless, but let us watch. Without her husband secretly backing her, let us see how long she survives.
At this point, they arrive at Yunding Tiangong, the most elite estate.
Only the most powerful and wealthy elite can even dream of living here. People here can shake the entire city, and this is his new home. Up on the absolute top floor, the private elevator door slides open. The breathtaking, wide-open view instantly clears his mind, surrounded by massive glass windows. The busy city skyline stretches outside, with a massive river rushing below them. The penthouse is styled in a clean, minimalist vibe, mostly black, white, and gray. Our boy has immaculate taste. It screams quiet luxury, with a massive custom sectional sofa sitting right in the middle of the living room. Right next to it is a sleek, ultra-modern bar fully stocked with rare liquors from all over the world. But his eyes immediately lock onto a few simple, unassuming Celadon wine jars tucked away in the corner. He walks over and pops one open, instantly filling the room with a rich, mellow aroma of aged wine. It is the green plum wine he brewed himself. His assistant, Wang Yi, follows close behind and greets him respectfully. Your walk-in closet, your study, and the gym have all been customized to your liking, boss. The kitchen is also fully stocked with your favorite ingredients. World-class chefs from 8 major cuisines are on standby. Our boy just nods, completely unfazed. He pours himself a glass of plum wine and walks over to the floor-to-ceiling windows. From up here, he can look down at all of Zhengcheng, with the iconic twin towers of the Shen Group standing out. They are fully visible. He gently swirls the glass. He downs the amber liquid in one go, enjoying the sweet, sour flavor with a subtle kick of spice. It slides down his throat, instantly warming up his whole chest. Put the market data of the Shen Group onto the screen, he commands, in a calm, cold voice. Right away, Wang Yi presses a button on the remote, and a massive living room wall instantly transforms into a giant display screen, flashing the live stock market charts of the failing Shen Group. The stock lines look like a green waterfall, crashing straight down in freefall. It is a brutal sight. He just watches in silence.
His face is completely expressionless, while Wang Yi stands behind him absolutely terrified.
He barely dares to breathe. He has served our main character for 10 whole years.
He watched him go from having absolutely nothing to building a massive, unstoppable business empire. So he knows better than anyone how terrifying this seemingly calm man gets when he is truly angry. The consequences are catastrophic. Boss, the Shen family is in complete chaos right now, Wang Yi reports softly. Shen Youchu called an emergency board meeting, but it is already too late. Their major shareholders are dumping stock like crazy, and banks are already demanding immediate loan repayments. Several of their massive active projects have completely halted due to a broken capital chain. Everything is completely frozen. How did she react? Xu Liunian asks. Apparently, she threw a massive tantrum in her office and smashed absolutely everything in sight. Wang Yi pauses, then adds that she has tried calling him dozens of times, but got no response. He pulls out his phone to check. Sure enough, his screen is flooded. Dozens of missed calls, all from Shen Youchu, alongside a long spam of furious text messages. "Get your ass back here. Did you do this? What do you even want?" she demands. Her tone shifts from demanding orders to desperate questioning, and finally to a subtle hint of panic. He lets out a cold laugh and blocks her number on the spot. Next, he opens his walk-in closet, which is stacked with brand new, ultra-premium custom suits. There are rows of luxury shirts and an insane lineup of highly valuable watches and accessories. Everything gleams brightly under the showcase lights. He slowly peels off his cheap, worn-out t-shirt. He tosses it into the trash can, then picks out a sleek, perfectly tailored dark gray custom suit to put on. When our boy finally steps back out of that closet, his entire presence has completely shifted. The lazy, exhausted guy from before is gone, replaced by a man of absolute power. In his place stands a business tycoon with razor-sharp eyes radiating some serious final boss energy. "Boss, what are your plans for today?" Wang Yi asks. "I have no plans." He adjusts his tie, muttering that he is taking a break after 3 exhausting years. It is about time to relax. He decides to take a stroll around Jiangcheng University.
He mentions that this exact spot is where he and Shen Youchu first met.
But get this, he isn't going there to reminisce. He just wants a quiet corner to read. Maybe catch some sun. That is literally it. Wang Yi is a bit surprised by the request, but he immediately gets a car ready.
Jiangcheng University is a massive, historic campus with a super heavy academic vibe.
He tells Wang Yi to park at the gate and decides to walk in alone.
The campus is absolutely beautiful, completely covered in green trees.
Young, energetic students are everywhere, walking around in small groups. They are laughing and talking about classes and games he barely even recognizes. Honestly, this lively energy feels pretty refreshing. He makes his way over to the library. This used to be his favorite spot back in the day. The whole place is dead silent.
You can only hear the soft rustle of pages. He grabs a seat right by the window.
Warm sunlight streams in through the glass. He randomly grabs a book about Song Dynasty ceramics.
He sits down and starts flipping through it. Right as he gets completely lost in the reading, a soft, sweet voice speaks up. She sounds super apologetic.
Can he help her reach a book on the very top shelf? He looks up. A girl in a simple white dress is standing right there, looking up. She is struggling to reach the top shelf, her hair tied in a neat ponytail. A few loose strands fall across her forehead, and her skin is incredibly pale. It almost looks translucent in the soft sunlight. Her eyes are big and bright.
They look like shiny, dark pearls. When she notices him staring, she gets flustered. She gives him a shy little smile, showing off 2 adorable dimples. "It is just too high," she whispers. Suddenly, his heart skips a beat.
His heart actually skips a beat here. Looks like the classic library trope works. He stands up and easily grabs the book she pointed at. It is a collection of modern poetry. He hands it over and she quickly thanks him.
Her sweet smile is honestly brighter than the sunshine beaming through the window.
But as she turns to leave, she trips over something on the floor. She gasps and falls directly toward him. He instinctively reaches out and catches her waist. Her body feels incredibly soft and light, carrying a faint, sweet floral scent.
Holding her like this makes him instantly freeze up. A long-lost feeling suddenly rushes over him. Damn it, he is actually getting a reaction. The girl freezes up in his arms too. She definitely felt that sudden shift. Her entire face turns bright red, looking exactly like a ripe apple. She panics, stammers an apology, and scrambles to pull away from his embrace. Clutching the book tightly, she backs away several steps, staring straight at the floor. Since the library is dead silent, their sudden movement draws a lot of attention. Nearby students are staring now. Feeling pretty awkward, he clears his throat. Trying to sound totally normal, he asks if she is all right. She barely whispers a no, keeping her head buried super low. Her ears are completely red. Seeing her get this flustered is actually pretty adorable. Honestly, this level of innocence is so refreshing compared to the usual drama. She's the absolute polar opposite of Shen Youchu, who is basically a cold, thorny iceberg. She asks if he is a student at Zhangda too, since she has never seen him around. She probably just brought up a random topic to break the ice and ease the awkwardness. He calmly replies that he actually graduated quite a few years ago. Hearing that, she immediately switches to a super respectful expression and greets him as senior. She even goes as far as giving him a formal bow, which only makes his smile deepen. Intrigued, he asks her name. "My name is Su Qing," she says, like a sunny day. The junior Chinese literature major tilts her face up and confidently introduces herself. Golden sunlight streams right through the window, catching her long hair. Eyelashes and casting a beautiful warm glow that makes her look absolutely stunning. He introduces himself as Xu Liunian, and she quickly repeats his name with respect. Blinking her clear eyes, she says that to thank him for helping with her books and literally saving her life, she wants to buy him a cup of milk tea. She is clearly still embarrassed about falling into his arms, her cheeks flushed with a bright blush. Honestly, he wants to refuse, but looking at her eager, sparkling eyes, the rejection dies in his throat, and he agrees before they walk out of the library. The weather is gorgeous outside, and Su Qing walks beside him like a happy little bird, happily chirping about school, from which professor has the most fun classes, to which cafeteria has the best food, and where to find the friendliest stray cats. He mostly just listens quietly, offering a soft nod or a quick reply here and there. But deep down, he is feeling a level of peace and relaxation he has never known before. Honestly, this is a wholesome vibe he never once got when he was with his toxic ex, Shen Youchu. With Shen Youchu, the entire atmosphere was always frozen and completely suffocating. Between the two of them, there was nothing but endless arguments and toxic mutual torture. But with Su Qing, man, they are so cute together that even the air feels sweet. She asks what flavor he likes and eagerly recommends their taro boba, saying it is amazing. Su Qing points to a cozy, fresh-looking milk tea shop just a short walk away. Turning back to look at him, her bright smile is completely pure and innocent. Without a single hint of pretense, he looks at her cute, smiling face. And on total impulse, gently reaches out to brush a stray lock of hair behind her ear. His fingertips accidentally brush against her warm earlobe as he does it. Her body instantly tenses up, her eyes wide like a startled deer looking up at him. He freezes, too. He has no idea why he did something so intimate, and the tension suddenly gets super heavy. Just as he is about to explain, his phone suddenly rings, ruining the moment. It is Wang Yi. Stepping aside, he answers to hear Wang Yi reporting that the Shen Group stock has completely crashed. Even crazier, Shen Youchu's powerful father, Shen Zhengguo, just called him directly. The man wants a meeting. This is Shen Zhengguo, the big boss of the powerful Shen family. Talk about a satisfying downfall. This ruthless old fox is finally losing his absolute mind. He coldly rejects the meeting, but then Wang Yi drops another bomb, saying Shen Youchu is at Jiangda. Wang Yi sounds pretty hesitant, causing him to instantly frown in annoyance. What is she doing here? He quickly looks back. He looks at Su Qing, who is patiently waiting right outside the milk tea shop. She is holding a cup of boba, taking cute little sips while looking over at him curiously. She looks just like a kid waiting for her parents. He hangs up and heads right back.
Su Qin hands him the other milk tea, calling him senior. She ordered him the exact same flavor.
Not at all, he says, taking the warm cup in his hand. He rarely drinks sweet stuff, but her excited, expectant eyes are hard to resist.
He takes a sip, tasting the sweet taro and milk flavor. It is actually pretty good, and she looks up, asking if he likes it. Suddenly, sharp heels click closer. They are fast, aggressive, and getting louder by the second. He does not even need to look to know that icy aura anywhere. The cold air hits, and Shen Youchu calls out his name. The cold air hits, and Shen Youchu calls out his name. Turning around, he sees her standing just 5 meters away.
She is still wearing that haughty, queen-like look in her tailored Chanel suit.
Her hair is perfect, but her breathing is heavy and uneven. Beneath that expensive makeup, she looks pale and completely exhausted. Her eyes lock onto him first, then slash like a sharp knife. She glares right at Su Qin, making the poor junior tremble. Su Qin shrinks behind him. Who is she? Shen Youchu asks the question slowly, her voice freezing cold. The air completely freezes, and the whole world seems to fade away. All the passing students just blur into the background. This is wild. He can clearly feel his wife's intense, suffocating pressure. Behind him, Su Qin is shaking like a frightened little animal. He takes a step forward, smoothly blocking Su Qin from her sight. Then he looks up, meeting his wife's gaze. Her eyes are practically shooting fire, but he just smiles back playfully. "Did you not tell me to find another woman?" he asks quietly. Boom! Those quiet words hit her like an absolute bomb. Her body sways and her face goes completely pale. She stares at him, her lips trembling. She desperately wants to speak, but can't find any words. For the first time, her cold, arrogant eyes are filled with pure shock. There is disbelief and a sudden panic in her eyes. "Xu Liunian," she finally gasps out. Her throat is dry. "Say that again," she demands. He takes a step closer and whispers right in her ear. In a voice meant only for her, he whispers that he found her.
She is younger and far sweeter than you.
And she actually cares. "Shen Youchu, thanks for letting me go." His warm breath hits her neck and she instantly flinches back in shock. Her entire body starts shaking and he can feel her trembling. Her hands clench into tight fists, her knuckles turning completely white. "How dare you," she snaps, raising her red, teary eyes. Her voice is sharp, losing all of her usual calm control.
She warns him not to forget exactly who he is.
"You are my husband," she claims, but to him, that is a complete joke. Xu Liunian lets out a bitter laugh, asking Shen Youchu if she even remembers he was her husband of 3 years. Did she ever treat him like a real human? Honestly, his laugh sounds like sharp needles. Stabbing straight into her heart as her face slowly drains of all color. She asks if the mansions and luxury cars she gave him were not enough. What more does he even want with an unlimited black card? She grinds her teeth. Forcing those words out, but our boy Xu Liunian just stops laughing. His eyes turning absolutely freezing. He tells her she simply cannot afford it. What he actually wanted was a real home with actual warmth. A wife who leaves a light on for him late at night instead of attacking him with constant insults. But that is something this cold CEO will never understand, and she can never give it. For the first time, her voice actually sounds desperate as she begs him not to do this. Talk about pure irony. The high and mighty queen of the Shen group, the same woman who trampled all over him for 3 whole years, is actually begging.
Is it because her company is going under, or did she finally realize?
She is about to lose her obedient little toy? Honestly, whichever it is, it just makes him sick. He takes a step back, calling her President Shen, keeping things completely professional and distant. He reminds her that if he remembers correctly, their agreement was crystal clear. No interfering with each other's private lives, so why is she trying to control him now? Hearing him call her President Shen makes her flinch. In 3 years of marriage, he always called her by her actual name. This is the first time he used such a cold, corporate title. It is like he is drawing a massive line, creating an uncrossable chasm right between them. She opens her mouth,
but realizes she has absolutely nothing to say. After all, she made the rules.
She wrote the contract. What right does she have to question him now?
He tells her he's leaving if there's nothing else to discuss. Not wanting to waste another second, he grabs Su-kin's wrist and tells her they are leaving.
Su-chin is terrified. Her hand is freezing cold and covered in sweat.
She is totally overwhelmed by this high-stakes face-off and looks completely lost. She just stumbles along behind him, too dazed to even look back at that powerful, intimidating woman. Behind them, Shen Youchu screams for him to stop. She is screaming hysterically now, but our boy does not even flinch. He keeps walking without pausing for a single second until they are far away. Only after turning a corner and completely losing sight of Shen Youchu does he finally let go of Su-chin's hand, asking if he scared her. He looks at her pale little face. She shakes her head, then slowly nods. Biting her lip, she carefully asks if that woman was his wife. Ex-wife, he corrects. Su-chin just softly whispers, "Oh," not asking anything else. She just keeps her head down in deep thought, making the atmosphere pretty heavy. To break the silence, he smiles and asks if they're still grabbing food. She looks up instantly, putting a smile back on her face, as if that tense showdown never even happened. But this time, her smile
Seems just a tiny bit forced. Honestly, my heart aches for her here.
It is clear that today's crazy drama has really troubled the poor girl. He never wanted to drag her into this, but meeting his ex was a total accident. Shu-chan asks his senior if they can grab some spicy hot pot near the school back gate. He says it is super delicious, even if the environment is a bit sketchy. Su-chin asks tentatively, clearly trying to read his mood. He probably thinks his senior is still shaken up after that run-in with his wealthy ex-wife.
Seeing the kid act so careful around him, Shu's heart instantly softens. What a green flag.
Honestly, that backgate hot pot joint is tiny and absolutely chaotic. A few greasy tables are packed with students, making it almost impossible to squeeze in. Just a tiny corner table left. Su-kin grabs 2 huge bowls like a pro and dives right into the crowd to pick ingredients. Shu watches him stand on his tiptoes, completely focused on picking out his favorite food. A smile creeps onto Yuju's face. This is that real, everyday warmth he's been missing. For 3 whole years, he had nothing like this. Nothing. Soon, 2 steaming bowls of hot pot arrive, covered in rich, red oil. Smells insane! Eat up, senior! Su-kin proudly slides one of the massive bowls right in front of him. Shu grabs his chopsticks and takes a bite of the juicy, soup-soaked tripe. Boom. Absolute flavor explosion. Su-chin looks at him with high hopes, and Shu genuinely admits that it is amazing. Hearing that, the kid beams with joy, his eyes curling up into happy crescents. But right when they are enjoying the meal, the phone rings. It is an unknown number, and when he answers, a voice asks for Mr. Chu. It is Li, President Shen's assistant, sounding incredibly frantic on the other end. She panics, saying their boss just collapsed and is being rushed to the hospital. And then boom, major plot twist, she fainted out of nowhere? Even though he is completely done with her, he cannot deny one simple fact. Shen Youchu has always been in perfect health, even fitter than him. She works out constantly and barely caught a single cold in 3 years. Wait, which hospital? He asks instantly, and a crying Li tells him she is at the city hospital. The assistant blubbers that the doctor thinks she suffered an extreme emotional shock. Pure exhaustion. Shu cuts her off, saying he understands. He hangs up immediately, prompting Su-kin to ask if something's wrong. The kid can tell his face has gone pale and looks incredibly worried. Shu looks at Su-kin's concerned face, then down at their unfinished steaming bowls. Frustrated, he apologizes, explaining he has to run off for an emergency. He stands up and pulls a couple of 100 yuan bills out of his wallet. He drops them on the table, telling Su-kin the meal is covered. Su-chin rises quickly and gently grabs the edge of his sleeve.
He asks if this is about the ex-wife, his eyes filled with pure anxiety.
He nods. She fainted, and he has to check on her. After all, they used to be married, so he feels a lingering obligation. It is only right to make sure she is okay, but Su-chin offers to join. The kid bites his lip, muttering that he cannot bear to eat alone anyway. Shu hesitates because bringing him along might make things incredibly awkward at the hospital. But leaving the poor kid behind feels completely wrong, too. He realizes he cannot just walk away, so he finally nods. On the cab ride to the city hospital, he texts Wang Yi. He wants a full report on Shen Youchu's health and her recent schedule. Wang Yi calls back almost instantly, saying he has found everything, boss. Wang Yi's voice sounds incredibly tense as he reveals she has severe stomach issues.
She is also on heavy antidepressants, which completely leaves our main character stunned and speechless. Stomach issues and antidepressants? No shot, how is that even possible?
He lived under the same roof with her for 3 years without noticing anything. Wang Yi continues, explaining that the Shen group has been struggling lately.
They are currently bidding on an overseas energy project against the ruthless Huiyao group.
This rival group has massive backing and uses incredibly dirty, underhanded tactics. Huiyao even poached all of Shen Youchu's core technical team with massive bribes recently. President Shen has been pulling non-stop all-nighters just to save this project. She personally led the research team, and hearing this, our main character narrows his eyes.
That name sounds familiar, and Wang Yi adds that the boss behind Huiyao is named Lu. His name is Liu Mingyuan, and he apparently has beef with our main character.
Wang Yi whispers this carefully as the name Lu Mingyuan suddenly sparks a dark memory. The floodgates of his mind burst open, and he finally remembers everything. Back in his past life on the streets, our regression main character did something insane. He single-handedly destroyed a massive drug cartel ruling over the Golden Triangle. The cartel's second-in-command was Lu Mingyuan, who barely escaped with his life. He supposedly cleaned up his act to run legitimate businesses, but now he is in Zhangcheng. And now he is targeting Shen Youchu. Is this villain behind absolutely everything? Does he know about their relationship and is targeting her just for revenge? Alright, so this is where the author is absolutely cooking with the plot twists. If that is true, then all of Shen Youchu's recent strange behavior makes complete sense. All her cold and harsh treatment toward him lately was just an act. A mind-blowing plot twist of a thought suddenly hits our main character. Was she pushing him away just to protect him? Meanwhile, his cab pulls up to the hospital. He shakes off his chaotic thoughts, pays the driver, and rushes inside with Su Qin. The strong smell of disinfectant hits them as they step into the emergency room hallway. He immediately spots Shen Youchu lying on a hospital bed with her eyes closed. Her face is completely pale, and her lips have lost all their color. With an IV drip hooked up, the usually untouchable queen looks totally different. Honestly, seeing this usually cold female lead looking so fragile is low-key heartbreaking. Our main character feels a sharp, suffocating pang of pain straight to his chest.
It literally hurts to breathe as he runs up and asks how she is doing.
He rushes to the bedside and asks Lily, who is crying her eyes out.
She stammers that the doctor said it is just low blood sugar and acute gastritis. She just needs some rest, Lily explains through her heavy tears.
Then she looks up and notices Su Qin standing right behind our main character.
She freezes for a second, and her expression suddenly turns very complicated.
Right at that moment, Shen Youchu starts to stir on her bed. Her eyelashes flutter slightly as she slowly opens her eyes. Her gaze is still unfocused, but then she spots him, standing right there. As soon as Shen Youchu spots the white-dressed girl behind Xu Liunian, the light in his eyes instantly dies out, and his mouth twists into a bitter, self-mocking smirk. He forces a painful smile and asks what they are even doing there.
His voice is completely cracked and weak as he asks if they came just to mock him.
He demands to know if this is some sick flex with his new girl staring right past our guy. He stares deathly at Su Qin. No coldness, no disdain.
Instead, it's just pure despair and hatred, making Su Qin squirm under his crushing, intense gaze. She immediately tries to hide behind Xu Liunian, clutching the corner of his jacket like a shield.
Our boy feels her trembling with absolute fear, and he instantly frowns. Honestly, he's so done with Shen Youchu's drama right now, feeling like their past issues shouldn't involve this girl.
He tells Shen Youchu to cut it out, because targeting an innocent girl is crossing the line. He cold-heartedly snaps back that she is literally just an underclassman.
Total coincidence, but Shen Youchu just scoffs.
Shen Youchu starts laughing quietly, as if he just heard the most ridiculous joke of the century.
His laughter is so hollow and broken as he directly asks if Xu Liunian thinks he's an idiot. A coincidence?
Why would a random encounter make Xu Liunian turn on him so easily? Why bring her to his face then?
At this point, Shen Youchu gets completely worked up again, and a sick, mocking sneer flushes across his pale face.
His frantic assistant, Li literally begs him to calm down since the doctor ordered complete rest. But Shen Youchu just snaps at her to shut up in a harsh voice, making her shake. He locks his gaze right back onto Xu Liunian. Those beautiful eyes of his are swimming with heavy tears, but he stubbornly refuses to let them fall.
He demands to know if Xu Liunian has been planning to leave his side this entire time.
Did he get so sick of him that he dragged some random girl here just to hurt him?
He yells that the stunt worked, asking if Xu Liunian is happy seeing him hospitalized like this. Every single word feels like a stab to the chest, leaving our main guy feeling absolutely suffocated. Looking at Shen Youchu's red-rimmed eyes and his fragile, prideful stance just makes his heart twist in pain. Xu Liunian is completely torn, totally speechless. He wants to say it wasn't on purpose, but his silence speaks volumes.
Deep down, he genuinely wants to end this toxic, twisted relationship once and for all.
Admitting that he's been done with him would just rub salt in an open wound. Shen Youchu demands a response, and Xu Liunian's cold silence completely shatters his mental state. He sits up abruptly and violently rips the IV needle right out of his hand. Blood starts splattering everywhere, prompting Li to scream in panic and lunges over. She tries to stop the bleeding, but he viciously shoves her away and screams to back off. He tries to swing his bare feet off the bed, making Xu Liunian instantly panic.
Xu Liunian rushes forward and firmly grabs his arm to keep him in bed.
His arm is freezing cold, and he feels so thin, like he is literally just bones.
It physically hurts to hold him as Shen Youchu starts wilding out, trying to break free. He thrashes around like a trapped, wounded animal, screaming if he's just going to leave with her anyway.
He tells him to just walk away and let him die, his tears finally spilling over like a broken dam.
They stream down his pale face, and this is actually the first time Xu Liunian has ever seen him cry.
He is crying so bitterly now, with absolute soul-crushing despair.
Something sharp stabs right through Xu Liunian's chest at the sight of him like this. As a sudden wave of guilt hits him, he begs Shen Youchu to just calm down. All he can do is hold her tight, stopping her from hurting herself any further. Even through the thin hospital gown, her body feels burning hot. He can feel her shivering, and honestly, he is completely losing his cool too. She buries her face in his chest, her muffled voice breaking through. Sobbing uncontrollably, she calls Xu Liunian a complete and utter jerk over and over. She curses him while repeatedly hitting his back with her fists.
There is no real strength behind her blows. It is basically like a tickle.
But he knows she is using every ounce of her energy, so he just lets her vent. Gently patting her back, he comforts her like a heartbroken child who just got hurt. Meanwhile, behind him, Sukin is forced to watch this chaotic scene unfold. She is completely frozen and has no idea what to do.
Standing there, she looks like an outsider who accidentally walked into someone else's world. Talk about being the ultimate third wheel.
Eventually, today's painful crying quietens down as her remaining strength slowly fades away. Soon, she drifts off to sleep in his arms, and he very carefully places her back on the hospital bed. Tucking her in, he stares at her peaceful, sleeping face. Tears are still clinging to her long eyelashes, leaving his mind in absolute chaos. He is so confused. She was literally mocking him and being cold just a second ago. Acting like she wanted him dead, but now she is completely breaking down. Just because another woman showed up beside him? What kind of feelings does she actually still have for him? Is it possessiveness or regret? He honestly does not dare to think about it anymore. Senior! Sukin's timid voice suddenly calls out from behind him. He turns around, meeting her clear and incredibly innocent eyes. They are filled with worry, mixed with a hint of hidden disappointment as she asks if she should not have come. She asks softly, and he looks at her. Guilt washes over him as he tells her it is not her fault. He sighs, admitting that he's the one who dragged her into this mess. Although he apologizes, she simply shakes her head and forces a weak, gentle smile. She asks if his wife is doing all right, still using that painful title of wife. He says she is asleep, so Su-chin decides to head back to campus first. She glances at Shen Youchu on the bed, then looks back at him. With that, she tells him to take good care of her. Without waiting for his response, she turns and runs out of the room, her back looking incredibly panicked. Watching her run off makes him feel even worse, so he pulls out his phone to text an apology. But then he realizes he does not even have her contact info at all. All he knows is that her name is Su-chin, a student at Zhang University. He frustratingly runs a hand through his hair. Then the assistant, Lily, approaches him. Hesitating, she reveals that President Shen actually cares about him a lot. Lily explains that although he thought his wife treated him poorly these past 3 years, she was actually protecting him in her own way. Okay, this twist is crazy. He raises an eyebrow, demanding to know what she means by that.
She hesitates before mentioning a man named Liu Mingyuan from the Huayao group.
Apparently, this guy has been relentlessly pursuing Shen Youchu. After being rejected, he started targeting the Shen group with dirty tactics because he knew she would not budge.
She was terrified he would hurt Xu Liunian, so she acted cold on purpose.
It was all to convince everyone that their marriage was already dead. This was all so Liu Mingyuan wouldn't target our boy Xu Liunian.
She literally kept a photo of him playing college basketball in her study.
She would stare at it alone for hours, and whenever he came home late,
She would nag him, but she actually stayed up waiting in the living room.
only after seeing him safe did she sleep. And knowing his weak stomach,
She secretly learned how to cook soup and had Zhang Yi serve him daily, while pretending she had nothing to do with it. But as Lily drops these truths, each word hits Xu Liunian like a bullet. Pro is completely shattered right now. All her harsh words were actually masking this insanely deep devotion. The torture he thought he was suffering was just her clumsy way of protecting him. And he was completely blind to it, hurting her over and over again. Even bringing another girl just to trigger her. Honestly, what a scumbag move. Massive regret and guilt instantly drown him. Looking at her sleeping on that hospital bed, his heart literally breaks. What did he even do to her? He stays by her side all night. Shen Youchu is sleeping restlessly, her brows tightly furrowed, muttering for Xu Lian not to leave every time she begs. He gently holds her hand, whispering that he is right here. And hearing his voice, her tense expression slowly relaxes. As she drifts back to sleep, dawn begins to break. His assistant, Wang sends over the full file on the villain, Liu Mingyuan. This guy cleaned his dirty money overseas first, then used shady financial plays to build a massive fortune. His new empire, the Huayao Group, started expanding at lightning speed. He used dirty tactics to take over countless promising companies. 6 months ago, he targeted Shen Youchu the moment he arrived in Zhengcheng. But after she rejected him, this absolute psycho went full toxic mode. He started pulling dirty tricks to crush her family company, poaching their top tech talent and cutting off their supply lines. Spreading fake news to crash their stock? Pure villain energy. It is literally the exact same playbook Xu Liunian used yesterday, just way sneakier.
and our main character was the last straw that broke the camel's back.
He literally pushed her into this nightmare himself. But wait, look at the file. There is a photo of Liu Mingyuan, a guy in his late party 40s. Slicked back hair and a creepy, sinister smile. One look and you know this guy is pure trouble. Xu Liunian stares at the photo, completely seeing red. This villain better pray he never runs into our MC, because Xu Liunian is about to make him wish he was never born. He looks back at Shen Youchu, her face finally gaining some color. Her breathing is steady as morning light streams through the window, making her look so incredibly peaceful. He gently reaches out to brush her cheek, feeling nothing but absolute guilt wash over him. He finally whispers how sorry he is for ever doubting her. Our guy promises to give her a full explanation once he finally wraps up all of this chaos. And he will also give her a choice before quietly leaving the hospital room. Wang Yi is waiting at the end of the hallway. Is everything ready? Yes, boss, it is set. Wang Yi nods, reporting that the rival group starts their conference at 10 a.m. They are hosting a massive event to announce they developed a groundbreaking chip technology. The corrupt boss Liu Mingyuan will attend. Our main character lets out a cold smirk and orders his team to prepare. Today, he is going to make sure the entire corrupt Huiyao group is completely wiped off the map.
Wang Yi is pumped, his eyes glowing with excitement for the upcoming storm. Honestly, it has been a hot minute
since he last saw his boss display such crazy dominance, but the MC suddenly pauses. He tells him to find a third-year student named Su Chin, and once she is located, our guy pulls a sleek black card from his pocket to hand over. This unregistered black card has no spending limit. Tell her it is compensation, and she must never appear in front of him again. His world is just too dangerous for her.
It is not meant for a pure, innocent girl like her, and Wang Yi nods.
Taking the card, the assistant departs, and our MC walks back inside. Youchu is still unconscious, so he sits by her bedside to quietly watch over her. With every single move already set, the clock finally strikes 10 a.m. The rival group starts their massive press conference, broadcasting live to a global audience. Flashing cameras go off non-stop. Wearing a fancy white suit, Liuming Yuan struts onto the stage, looking incredibly smug. He completely loves the spotlight. Just as he prepares to drop his announcement, the absolute chaos begins. The giant display screens at the venue suddenly go completely black, and a shocking video begins to play. This footage reveals the villain, Liu Mingwan, dealing with a shady foreign business partner. They're caught red-handed making a massive transaction inside a hidden underground lab. Indeed, they are actually trading massive amounts of drugs. His proud, corrupt face is clearly visible on the screen for everyone to see. He literally brags that once this shipment goes through, the entire market is theirs. His wild laughter echoes everywhere.
The room goes dead silent, and honestly, this plot twist is just wild.
Reporters quickly snap out of it and aim their cameras directly at the stage, focusing right on the pale-faced President Liu.
They start shouting questions, asking if the tape is real and if they are smuggling.
Asking if the new microchip was just a massive lie, throwing endless questions. Questions flood him like a wave. He stands there completely speechless, and almost at that exact moment, the heavy double doors are kicked wide open and fully armed officers rush inside. They announce he is under arrest for international drug smuggling and money laundering. Cold metal handcuffs lock his wrists. The villain collapses like wet mud, completely unable to process his sudden defeat. He thought his crimes were hidden, but our MC totally cooked him. Who could actually have enough power to pull off something this insane in just a single night? They dug up every single piece of dirty evidence on him, but the mastermind behind it all? Well, he is just sitting in a hospital room coldly watching the chaos unfold live on his phone.
Game over. Our main character quietly locks his screen.
Looking up, he locks eyes with his wife, who just woke up looking completely lost. Shen Youchu stares back at him with a look that is incredibly complicated. "Have you been here the whole time?" she asks hoarsely before asking about the company. She struggles to sit up, but he gently presses her back down. "The company is fine now," he reassures her, leaving her totally stunned. Instead of explaining, he simply hands his phone over to her. On the screen is the live stream playback, and Shen Youchu watches it all go down. Her expression goes from shock to absolute disbelief, and then she snaps her head up.
She stares straight at him. Was it you? Did you do all this? He does not deny it, prompting her to ask who he really is. She looks at him like he is an actual stranger, trying to read him. Is the man standing before her really the same submissive guy she used to know?
The useless husband who could not do anything right? No, not with those eyes. Honestly, his aura is built different now, radiating final boss energy like a hidden king. Finally, his sharp claws are out. Xu Liunian looks at her in silence for a moment. Then he quietly speaks up. "Shen Youchu, let us talk." The hospital room goes dead silent, except for the faint beeping of the medical monitors. Shen Youchu leans back against the headboard, her face still pale. But her eyes are sharper than ever as she quietly gazes at him. It is like she is trying to recognize a stranger who used to be her closest person. "So for the last 3 years, you have been lying to me this whole time?" She speaks up, her voice completely flat, but he insists he never lied.
Shaking his head, he says he was simply fulfilling their original agreement.
Playing the part of a useless loser was her only demand back then. He did exactly that, and honestly, he played the role a little too well. So well that she and everyone else actually believed he was just garbage. Fulfilling the agreement, she laughs to herself with pure self-mockery. Xu Lian, are you mocking me? You clearly had so much power this whole time. You could have easily crushed Lu Mingyuan and saved my family's company. But instead, you just stood by and watched me struggle all alone. You watched me get pushed into a corner. Did you find it amusing? Watching me struggle like a clown? Her voice starts to shake with raw emotion.
He realizes she is completely misunderstanding, but he honestly did not know.
Looking deep into her eyes, he tells her he knew nothing about Liu Mingyuan, or how much she was suffering alone. He just figured she genuinely hated him. He thought she despised him, so when she told him to leave, he took it to heart. His words make Shen Youchu completely freeze up.
She obviously remembers what she said. If you are so capable, go find another woman.
Her lips tremble as she tries to speak, but the words just will not come. And honestly, she was the one who pushed him away with the most painful words. What right does she have to blame him now? But then she asks about that other girl. She stays quiet for a long time, barely able to squeeze out the question. She is asking about Shu Qing, but our guy already sent her packing.
He calmly explains that he just handed her a huge pile of cash as compensation.
Hearing this, Shen Youchu's incredibly tense body finally begins to relax.
She seems to relax a bit, but is immediately hit by an even deeper wave of disappointment.
Paying her off with cash is such a brutal shortcut, yet it is also completely typical of his current wealthy status. Turns out that girl she literally ruined their marriage over was not even a big deal to him. Honestly, the emotional buildup is insane here as Xu Liunian slowly looks up at her. With red eyes, he asks what they even are to each other. He actually wants to ask the same thing. What are they doing at this point? Are they nothing but a contract couple or bitter enemies designed to torture one another forever? Or maybe they are just two total fools, loving each other completely wrong. Instead of giving her any direct answer, he silently stands up and slowly walks over to the window. He pulls the curtains open, letting the warm afternoon sunlight flood inside. It clears out the darkroom, and he tells Shen Youchu to focus on recovering first. He keeps his back turned, quietly saying they should finally get their divorce finalized. His calm voice sends Shen Youchu's heart crashing straight into a dark abyss. Divorce. He still wants to end it, even after learning the actual truth of her secrets. Even after finally knowing all the painful sacrifices she made for him, he is still walking away. Why? She absolutely breaks down, begging to know why he wants this. Her desperate voice is filled with tears, and he finally turns around to look at her. He tells her they are both just completely exhausted after 3 long years. She spent those years hiding behind lies to protect him, while he lived thinking she hated his guts. The author is seriously cooking with this tragic cycle of them just constantly hurting and destroying each other. This toxic relationship is too much, and he begs Shen Youchu to let him go. He asks her to let herself go too, his voice sounding incredibly soft and tired. Yet those soft words strike like a massive hammer straight against Shen Youchu's heart. She just stares directly at him, tears silently and heavily streaming down her face. Let him go? There is absolutely no way she can just erase 3 years of memories. Every single memory is carved deep into her bones, even the times she insulted and hurt him. She only did all that to push him away from a dangerous situation. But watching his incredibly lonely back, it literally tore her apart. It hurt every single time. She just needed to defeat Liu Mingyuan. Only then could she save her family's massive, struggling company. Then she could finally drop the act. They could be together just like she wanted. But she never expected him to take the first step and walk away from her. And doing it so coldly makes her desperate, leading her to ask, what if she says no? She grits her teeth, stubbornly telling Xu Liunian that she will never agree to a divorce. This is their shared home, and he is still her legal husband, no matter what. No way. Absolutely nobody is going to separate them now. Honestly, he saw this explosive reaction coming, but it still caught him a bit off guard.
He figured her extreme pride would make her sign those divorce papers without hesitation.
but she is holding on so tight that he can only sigh and ask why she's bothering.
Declaring that she does not care, she throws off the covers and leaps out of bed.
She lunges forward, hugging him tightly from behind and pressing her face directly against his back. Her hot, heavy tears quickly soak right through his shirt as she desperately begs him not to leave her.
I was wrong. I was honestly so wrong. I promise I will never yell at you again.
No more cold shoulders. None. From now on, I will listen to absolutely everything you say. I will do absolutely anything you want me to do. Please just do not divorce me, okay? He is sobbing behind her like a kid, dropping all his pride. Honestly, this emotional payoff hits different. Begging so humbly. Meanwhile, her body stands completely frozen, stiff as a solid block of stone. But you can feel it. Slowly, her cold and heavily guarded heart is starting to melt away. For 3 years, his freezing neglect built a massive wall around her heart. A giant emotional barrier, and yet at this very moment, he is about to shatter it. His burning hot tears completely wash that wall away, forcing her to just close her eyes. She takes a deep, quiet breath. She slowly turns around and pulls him into a tight embrace. Silly fool. She leans down and tenderly kisses away his tears, finding them so bitter and salty. And yet, for the first time in years, her heart finally feels that long-lost sweetness.